Time for some gold digging, as we are now going back to Rockhopper, and the vehicle we are using is a buggy. As of which I'm pretty sure this is episode 37 by now. And well, I've already used the Jester BXR twice now, so I'm not really bothered about using that thing again. And I think I did use the Rattler once, as far as I know, so I think I'm gonna use the vehicle I started this game with, the Wombat Typhoon. And as for the colour, well, I'm not gonna race in pink again because I've already done that. Black and red actually doesn't look too bad on this thing, but I'm gonna go with this thing, because it's in yellow. Time, once again, to hit the hopper in a buggy. You ain't as green this time, so you've no excuse for trying something stupid and dangerous. Apart from because it's fun. Honestly, I would say up to this point I've already experienced enough stupidity heading into this event. So game, you ain't got to tell me nothing about me being excuseless. I think that's a word. But yeah, excuseless. You ain't gotta tell me twice. I'm just gonna go for the win. I'm basically just gonna do what Kyle Busch normally does. Basically, going for the win, but also trying not to intentionally wreck his opponents. Well, unless you would account for Richmond 2008 when he did wreck Dale Earnhardt Jr., but, you know, outside of that, I would say Kyle Busch is a lot more mature as a racing driver, and everything appears to be going well so far. I am in the top half of the field after all, and as you would have expected, I am down to the inside. The banking, or at least the first banking, is clearly not the place to be in order to make some overtakes. You may get some speed, but it's advisory to say that's not the place to go. And running in second at the moment, behind what looks like one of the Jester BXRs, and really trying to close in on him. I'm targeting him and trying to go for the lead, whilst also trying not to blow this thing up, because apparently that is something I can do if I'm not careful. And at the moment, things are going more or less as expected. Even though my throat still remains to be unclearable. I have no idea how that did not result in a wreck, because I'm pretty sure if that was just an inch closer, that would have been a lot worse than it actually was. And as a result of my shenanigans, I'm now down to 7th. So I need to stick to the right-hand side if I'm going to win this race. Go fuck yourself. And yeah, okay. I knew that was coming. Literally, once I was 1 centimetre offline, I knew a wreck was going to happen. And there was just nothing I could have done about it. Not even by stepping on the brakes, because I was already sideways. What the fuck just happened there? Was that literally a hump or something that just caught me out? I got no idea on what the fuck that was. That was unbelievable. That literally had to be a hump right in the middle of the road underneath me. That was probably what just literally caught me out. and totally destroy my car. There was just nothing I could have done there. Didn't even know it was there. Whatever the fuck that was. Whoa! Excuse me! Fucking hell. You know, if you were really wanting to wreck me this early on, then why didn't you just do it in the first place, instead of choosing an idiotic time to do it as of right now? You know, if you were really wanting to wreck me, why didn't you just do it on the first lap? Because that's basically where most of the carnage took place. Yeah, okay, this is a much harder race here at the Rockhopper compared to previous ones I've had. And I think it's innocuous to say that I'm going to wreck again before this is all over. Unless I manage to get pretty much an insane amount of luck. Like Michael McDowell did when he won the Daytona 500. Just basically coming down to a last lap move out of desperation. Yeah, I've got no idea what that is, but I'm pretty sure that's a hump, which I saw there. Even then, of course, if obviously Michael McDowell's Daytona 500 victory will be remembered for all the wrong reasons. Because the race itself overall, like this one, is terrible. Or was terrible, I should say. Just I can say my vehicle's back up to scratch once again, so maybe it's not impossible. I mean, I know the odds are against me, but I think it's fair to say it's not impossible for me to capture the magic. I just need to not bottle it, is all. Because that is how I win races in this game, by making the least amount of mistakes. And I don't mean going mistake-free, I just mean, you know, avoiding those mistakes. I actually benefited from not using the ramp that time. Now I feel ramped up. Maybe I'll be able to win this thing after all. And there we go. Did not think it was going to be possible on my first attempt after all of that chaos and destruction, but ironically in the end, in spite of me pretty much wrecking an abundance of times in that race, somehow in the end it was still consistent enough for me to take the checkered flag. It was somehow a victory. I don't know how, but it was a victory, and that's all that really matters. My guy actually looks pretty cool, waving his hand out there. You know, I might actually see if I can get a shot of him on the bankings. Just to, you know, include some continuity. Or at least I think it's continuity, but whatever, you know what I mean. Okay, I think that should do it. So, in the end of that, I won by over half a second ahead of Henry T. Pops, and Ivan McCloskey completes the podium. And then for the rest of the top 10, we had Ken Wright ahead of Reverend Black. Ridout was 6th ahead of Le Show. Savage finished in 8th ahead of Laura Gibbons, and Rickson was 10th. And then in 11th and 12th, we had Zuzu Plumpton ahead of Mr. Suv, who again was in another Wombat Typhoon. But there we go. I win at rockhopper. And now we can move on to our next event once the game loads. Oh boy. Fan-fucking-tastic. You know, I thought for sure the game wasn't going to load for a moment there, but apparently in the end it did. And the next event is probably going to be even more of an ordeal because we're going back to Sidewinder Gulch and we have to use a bike. Ugh. Is my immediate reaction. But yeah, that's up next. Heatwave.